and then go ahead,
All right.
Pat, and I'll hand it over to Kevin when you're ready.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today to hear a little bit more information about our California Dreamin Tour that we have scheduled here for April. My name's Patrick Werther. I'm with Werther Tours, and my brother Brian Werther is here as well. And then we also have with us Kevin Murphy. And for those of you that don't know Kevin, Kevin was on our Pacific Northwest tour last year. He helped us put that tour together and was on the tour guiding us around, showing us throughout the Pacific Northwest there. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. And this is kind of his backyard as far as California. This is his specialty. He will also be guiding this tour as well with us. So we're excited to have Kevin along. And like I said, this is for those that are live, but also for those that couldn't be able to make today's Zoom meeting. We're also recording this. So, if you have any questions after you view this, please give us a call, email us, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions. We'll go through the whole presentation today. And at the very end, we'll have a Q&A for those that have any questions about the tour. And kind of go from there. So with that, Kevin, take it away, and the floor is yours.
Great, appreciate that. Thank you very much, Patrick and Brian, and those of you joining us today. Very excited to be back working with Werther for a tour coming up for Northern California. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you right now, and we'll click through some slides that'll give some background about the tour. You guys able to see that?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Again.
Okay, terrific. Let me just get it in the big screen there. So cool. So again, California Dreaming, and we're going to be featuring visits to Yosemite National Park and, of course, beautiful Lake Tahoe, scheduled for mid to late April of next year. So we're going to start off in the city of San Francisco. We'll do a city tour after your arrival into San Francisco. We're going to hit some of the hot spots that the city is well known for, including Chinatown, Union Square, Twin Peaks. We'll drive through Presidio, which was a former installation and now is turned into a gorgeous park that hosts several museums and historical sites. And of course, we'll head through Golden Gate Park as well on our way to the hotel for the first evening, which is the Riu Plaza, right along Fisherman's Wharf, about a block off the wharf, which is terrific because it can be a lot of pedestrians, music, street performers, and it can get a little bit noisy when you're right off the wharf. So it's going to be about a block and a half away, very easy access to both the wharf and Pier 9. Lots of restaurants, lots of great shopping in that neck of the woods. Beautiful views of things like Alcatraz, Angel Island, and of course the waterfront. So the hotel, full service, lovely bar, got some great fire pits right off the restaurant, right outside the hotel. And of course, we'll have breakfast included each morning. So on day two, we're going to give you an option. A lot of people aren't aware that the Golden Gate Bridge actually has a walking path, a sidewalk that's separated from the lanes of traffic. And a lot of people really enjoy taking a stroll across the Golden Gate Bridge. So we're going to give you the option of either driving across on our motor coach or taking a lovely 1.5 mile walk, a little bit more than 1.5 miles. Motor coach will drop us off on the south side of the bridge, and then continue. Those who aren't going to be doing the walk, we're going to be offering you a visit to Army Corps of Engineers Bay Model. That's the set you can see on the left there. So you can see it's a very large scale model of the bay that was constructed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers many years ago to basically model how water moves in and through the bay, how it's affected with clarity, sea level rise, how dams have affected things, and basically it helps predict tidal changes.
I don't know. I can't, I'm having trouble on,
I was just gonna say we could sit next to each other on the couch and watch it there.
that's probably the best thing to do.
Oh, hold on one second.
Sure.
Let me expand that real quick.
I'm trying to get back to,
I think since you're the host now, Kevin, you might have to mute it there.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries. Let's see. I think I got it. So anyway, you've got the option of visiting the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Bay Model, or you've got the option of taking the walk.
somewhere.
Oh, it's working.
So once we all meet up again at the north side of the bridge, we're going to go down into Sausalito. And at that point, you'll have the option of having lunch and doing some shopping along the waterfront. You get to see some of the floating homes in Sausalito. And then instead of driving back on the motor coach, we're actually going to take a ferry directly across from Sausalito, and you'll have an opportunity to see Alcatraz, which is the first picture on the page. You'll get some beautiful views of the bay as we go back to Fisherman's Wharf. So day 3, after we have dinner the night before, we'll go to day 3, which is our kind of our getaway from San Francisco day, where we're headed to Napa. We're actually going to take a high-speed ferry that will depart from the ferry building. That's the tall clock tower building you see, and then on the inside is above. The ferry building was home to many different shipping companies in its history, and it's been turned into a wonderful indoor market, lots of shops and places where you can buy farm to fork type of food. The ferry ride is about an hour, and it will pass underneath the Bay Bridge, cruise past Angel Island. It drops us in Vallejo, where our motor coach will meet us. And then we're off to Napa, which is about a 30-minute drive from Vallejo. We'll go to Oxbow Market, another wonderful indoor area for lunch. There's lots of different vendors inside to purchase lunch from. And then we will hit one of Napa's wineries before we start on our way into Sacramento. We'll have a nice little wine tasting, just perfect to kind of cap off the early afternoon lunch, and then again into the city. So we're going to be staying that night at the Holiday Inn in downtown Sacramento. As you can see by the top picture there, there's an archway next to the entrance of the hotel. It says "To Old Sacramento." And that's a wonderful little subway passage that connects us to the historic district, which has wonderful shops and restaurants. Of course, the Holiday Inn is also located right next door to our brand new basketball arena, and that area has also grown up quite a bit with some wonderful restaurants, all within walking distance of each other. So we'll have a chance to go to Old Sacramento the next day as well for lunch. So you don't have to go to Old Sac that night for dinner. There's lots of other options, or you can, of course, just stay right at the hotel, and we'll make sure that we provide you plenty of opportunities to learn about what's available to get around. So our day in Sacramento, we're going to do a guided tour of the city. We'll be sure to stop by the state capitol. Maybe we'll get a group photo like that one there from a group we had from New Zealand a couple of years ago. Once we do our city tour, we're going to go back to Old Sacramento. Old Sacramento, in addition to hosting lots of restaurants and shops and historical markers, is also home to the California State Railroad Museum. And if you haven't heard of the museum, it's one of the top rail museums in North America, ranked by rail fans and rail buffs alike. And so you get an idea. We've got some wonderful historic as well as more modern train equipment in the museum. If trains aren't your thing, then you get more time for shopping. But if trains are your thing, then grab a quick bite at one of the faster restaurants, and then you'll have an opportunity to stroll through the museum before we head out. So from Sacramento, we're going to head south to the Great Valley. We'll take a stop in Atwater at Castle Air Museum, former Air Force base that has been turned into one of California's top-rated attractions for aviation buffs. And then we'll head east through the town of Merced up to El Portal, which is the middle entrance of Yosemite National Park. And this is where we will be staying, right along the Merced River, which is the river that goes through the heart of Yosemite Valley. All of the rooms at the hotel will have river views. And of course, we'll have breakfast there included as well. On day 5, we're going to hit beautiful Yosemite National Park. We'll start the day with a guided tram tour. That's what you're looking at here. We'll have a national park ranger on board, and they'll be providing the interpretation as we make our way through some pretty spectacular sites. Of course, Yosemite Falls, Half Dome, all the wonderful things that Yosemite is well known for. And of course, this is April, so there's a very good chance we might see some snow on the ground as well. And there's actually one of the best times to be in Yosemite is in the middle of spring, when you can kind of see the seasons change as we go through the park. After the ranger guided tram tour, then you'll have some time on your own to spread out. We've got a wonderful visitor center, several options for lunch. If you want to stroll over or take one of the park shuttles over to the Ahwahnee Hotel and take a visit there at the Ahwahnee, that's always a wonderful place to walk through. So much wonderful history there as well. And then what we'll do is we'll run a shuttle service in the afternoon. So those who would like to stay in the park longer, take advantage of being there, you can stay a little bit longer. The hotel is only about a 20-minute drive out from the valley. And those who want to head back and enjoy that outdoor view of the Merced River from your patio at your hotel room, maybe an evening libation, then you have that option as well. So lots of options for our visit to Yosemite. On day 6, we're going to head north. We're going to go through the California Gold Country. For those who didn't take advantage of the State Railroad Museum in Sacramento, that also has a sister facility called Railtown 1897 with live steam engines. This is actually quite a few television shows and movies were filmed that involved rail. So if anybody remembers the old TV series Petticoat Junction, the opening scenes were shot where you see the train going through the opening credits for the show. We'll include lunch on our way up to beautiful Lake Tahoe. And the way we get to Lake Tahoe is by following Highway 50, which was the original route of the Pony Express Trail. So we'll be following in the hoof steps, I guess you would say, of the Pony Express riders who made their living in the late 1850s, early 1860s. So.
Nice. Ooh.
Way for Heavenly Valley Ski Resort, which has turned into a wonderful entertainment and shopping district with lots of great restaurants. On the other side of the hotel is the Nevada-California state line, which means casinos. So we've got 2 casinos directly across the street, Harrah's and Harvey's, and a couple more down the way. But everything is one, and you'll have lots of options during our evening stay in Lake Tahoe. On day 7, we'll see a little bit more of Lake Tahoe, but this time from the water.
I think his meta froze there.
Yep, I think so. Well, he comes back here. I'll give it a minute or two.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you guys there for a second, but I'm back on, yes?
Yep, we
can hear
got
you
you
now,
back
Kevin.
there. Got you back.
Is the screen still showing or is it just me?
Just you right now.
Just you. About the
Let me,
rewind there real quick, but
let me click back here.
Yeah, day 6 is when it was starting to cut in and out a little bit.
Day 6?
Yep.
Okay. Should I go back?
Yeah.
Just a quick review. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go back because we can always edit it and put it together there. So
Okay.
it'll be all good.
Yeah, so day 6, we're going to head north through California's Gold Country. We're going to stop at Railtown 1897, which is the sister museum site to the California State Railroad Museum. Again, a wonderful place where a lot of films have been shot, as well as some TV shows, including Petticoat Junction. And then after lunch, we'll follow Highway 50, which is the old Pony Express route. And we'll take that all the way to Tahoe, where we will be staying at South Lake on the South Shore at the Lake Tahoe Resort Hotel. So again, beautiful atrium style hotel. It's located right at Heavenly Village. On one side, you have all the wonderful shops in the entertainment districts of Heavenly Valley. And then on the other side is the access to several casinos on the Nevada side. So of course, we'll have breakfast included at that hotel as well. So day 7, we'll have a chance to see from a completely different point of view with a cruise aboard the C2. You'll have an opportunity to purchase lunch on board as the ship makes its way across to Emerald Lake and then back to the Nevada side. And then once we get back to Nevada, we're headed up to Virginia City, which was home to Mark Twain for about 2 years, while his brother served as secretary to the territorial governor. And we're going to end the night in Reno with a wonderful Basque-style dinner at Louis' Basque Corner, which is just a block away from your hotel, which is the Silver Legacy. So right in the heart of downtown Reno, connected to 2 other casinos, the Circus Circus and the El Dorado, by a wonderful skywalk. So that will be the end after day 8, when your flight home returns in mid-morning, just before you head out and back on your way home. But just a couple things I'd like to point out about this particular tour. We're going to be at some pretty high elevations throughout the tour. You can see some of the numbers there. Reno, Yosemite Valley, between 4,500 feet. We've got Echo Summit, which is the high point of US 50 at just over 7,000. And our stay in Lake Tahoe will be about 6 feet. And then again, we're going to have some very varied weather as we go through springtime in California, moving from 0 elevation all the way into Reno at 4,500 feet. So we're off to a really great snow season here in California right now. So my expectation is you're going to see some beautiful snow-capped mountains when you come. Hopefully it'll stay that way. We've been a little dry in California lately. And it would not be unexpected to perhaps catch a little bit of snowfall. And if it happens while we're in Yosemite, so much the better. As you can see from that top photo there, Yosemite is absolutely beautiful when it's got a little fresh dusting of snow on it. But of course, the weather is going to vary in terms of temperature as well. So Sacramento, San Francisco, you'll see highs in the 60s and lower 70s. Once we get up to the higher ends, Yosemite Valley, Lake Tahoe, you're going to be seeing somewhere in the 50s and 60s for daytime highs and in the 30s for the lows. So just something to consider as you are packing for this wonderful 8-day tour.
Kevin, can you actually just go in real quick about, why April, kind of thing, why we chose April to visit the California Yosemite area?
Sure. I mean, particularly with Yosemite, people are, they're well known for their waterfalls in Yosemite Valley. And as the weather starts turning warmer in the Sierras, starting in spring, those falls will really start to produce some significant water. So unfortunately, with the seasons of drought that we've had in California the last couple of years, the waterfalls in the fall are almost down to a trickle. And so while the fall colors are absolutely gorgeous in Yosemite Valley and in the Sierra, it's much better to come in the springtime when the falls are really, really roaring and creating some really spectacular scenery in Yosemite.
And that's also too, but also, I think you mentioned me too before about, you won't have to worry about the forest fires or anything like that as much too.
That's very true. Unfortunately, we did have a very good fire season. And by that, I mean, we didn't have very many fires this year, much fewer than the last couple of years. And obviously it helps when we have the wetter weather like we're having right now. But yeah, I mean, people joke all the time that fire season is year round in the West. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a misnomer. Our fire seasons generally don't start kicking off until midsummer. So that's another great reason to come to California in the springtime, particularly as those, the fires can very easily fill a valley and cause smoke. But that's not going to be the case in April.
Another thing I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit real quick too was the meals included. I believe it's 11 meals that we have included, which is usually a little lighter as far as number wise. The number of meals we usually have included on a tour like this, but a lot of the places that we are staying at or will be at, there'll be plenty of options to pick from where we're at. So with, obviously San Francisco, there'll be lots of options there along Fisherman's Wharf. Sacramento, you mentioned Old Town Sacramento, having lots of options. And of course, Heavenly there and Lake Tahoe, plenty of restaurants there as well. So that's one of the reasons why we didn't include as many meals, just because of the amount of options and proximity that we will be close to a lot of these places that will give you that opportunity to choose whatever one you really want to go to or different kind of meal you want to have while on the tour. So
yeah, that's absolutely very much true. This particular region of Northern California, we can grow about 90% of the world's crops. A few things that we can't grow. We don't grow coconuts here. We don't grow pineapple. We don't have coffee yet, although there's talk about starting to grow coffee down in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And springtime, there's going to be a wonderful bounty of fresh fruits and vegetables at places like Oxbow Market and the Ferry Building in San Francisco. And again, as you say, Patrick, we'll be in some wonderful cities, and the hotels that we've chosen are very close in proximity to some wonderful restaurants, be it, quick serve, sit down full meals, and everything in between.
Yep. Okay. Brian, do you have anything that you have any questions or anything like that you want to add before we put up our slide real quick? Or
No, I don't have anything. I don't have anything
Okay.
there. That was great. So nothing that comes to my mind or nothing that I had that wasn't said. So no, that's great. No, I do have a final slide here that we can show that has, our pricing for the tours as well as flight schedule. So I'm going to reclaim that here and share screen too. That there. And then let me make sure that I have all this. There we go. This here. That is in our price for this tour here, our price per person double is $3,795 plus air, and then for single $4,595 plus air for that as well. And then our air schedule, April 18th, flying out of Cleveland. I know typically we do Columbus, but we are doing Cleveland this time, going to Denver, departing at 12 noon, and then arriving at 1:20 Mountain Time in Denver, and then laying over there and departing at 2:55 p.m. Mountain Time, arriving in San Francisco at 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time. And then on April 25th, return, flying out of Reno, and we'll be going all the way to Chicago Midway. And like I said, departing at 10:15 a.m. and then arriving Central Time at 6:05 p.m. And then a little layover there, getting back into Cleveland at 10:45 p.m. in the evening.
And this the air schedule is through Southwest Airlines at this moment. Hopefully fingers crossed, no changes in the schedule. I know last year before, flight schedules seem to be always changing. So I'm hoping that they can keep to this schedule that we have contracted to. So, which of course with Southwest, baggage is included with the flight there. And as you can see, flight times there are pretty reasonable, actually. We don't have to get a hotel the night before, get up super early. With the 12 o'clock departure out of Cleveland, that means we'll probably have to leave, New Philly, I'm guessing around 8:30, I'm guessing, to get up to Cleveland to get all checked in and all that. So that would be nice. And then the layovers, we have an hour and a half there in Denver, which we may need, depending on which gate where our next flight is at going into San Francisco there. Hopefully it's not on the other end of the airport, but at least an hour and a half gives us time to get over there and they give us something, get a bite to eat or something. And then same with coming back, at least we have 2 hours there in Midway to be able to grab a bite to eat and relax before heading on our last leg, heading into Cleveland. I don't have really anything else. So Brian, why don't you go ahead and unmute everybody? So if anyone has any questions about the tour, we'd be more happy to answer them for you. Kevin will also be happy to answer any questions you have as well. So if you have anything, just let her fly.
Sounds good. Yep, I unmuted those. Some muted themselves, so they're gonna have to unmute themselves if they'd like to ask a question there. But yeah, time for any questions that you may have.
Mike.
Yeah, I've got one question. Your airfare's out of Cleveland. If we can arrange a flight out of Columbus at about the same time, how would the transfers work?
Are you living in Columbus?
Yes, we are.
So you would just have to get yourself to the airport there, and then since we have the group air going out of Cleveland, we would have a bus going from New Philadelphia area to Cleveland. But if you live in the Columbus area, you would just have to drive to the airport there and then meet us there in San Francisco.
I'm more concerned about the arrival in San Francisco, and I've got some experience with airfare, so that's not a big deal. But if we arrive at about the same time, could accommodations be met so that, say, if we're within 20 minutes of your normal transfer, would that work out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you're there around the same time that we are there, you'll just get on the bus with us. The bus will pick us right up at the airport there in San Francisco, and we'll get all luggage all loaded up, and you'll be joining the group right at the airport there.
Yeah, and if for some reason something happens with the delay or anything like that, it doesn't meet up, we'll obviously be able to make arrangements to get you picked up from the airport and over to the hotel to where you need to be there. So yeah, that can be worked out very easily once you arrive there in San Francisco, that we can get you met up with the group, no problem.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Any other questions at all? All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And then if there's any questions that come up after the presentation, you can more than happy to give us a call, email us, or anything like that, and we'll get those answers or those questions answered for you. And we will see everyone later. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. It's very informative.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. And Kevin, thank you very much again for that presentation and
Thank you,
going over
Kevin.
everything. That was awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate the invitation. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep. Have a good day, everyone. Thanks.
See ya.